recently on the red carpet tour. Maybe red carpet, maybe a little bit of press promo. Now, I don't know if it was around the announcement of Brave New World. It's a clip that's been circulating. It could have been recent. It could have been from a few years ago when Anthony Mackie starred in Falcon and the Winter Soldier for Disney Plus. Anthony Mackie, he pinpoints his career. He does it quite well. He tells a reporter that this is the first time people are showing up for him in the movie. This is me, this is my movie, and they're showing up for me. But it's not the first time he's been in front of a movie. I mean, get that with Elevation. That's one of the reasons I wanted to watch this as soon as it became available on HBO Max. So let's talk about this movie. The whole hook of this movie, and you know it from the trailer, they're in the mountains because the evil aliens cannot elevate themselves. So there's a line, and that's it. That's the hook, and we gotta go. Let's go.
Camera speed.
Sound production, take one.
Action!
Movies like this are great. Movies like this bring me back to the early days of cinematic science fiction, of cinema-fi, as I like to call it, where you have a big idea and you just go with it. This big idea, hopefully, is interesting enough to capture the audience for 2 hours. Alien invasion movies always have a hook. They've had a hook with the alien invaders ever since War of the Worlds, where the Martians decimate humanity in that movie. Within a few days, they've taken over Earth, but then they cannot breathe Earth's air. They die of bacteria, so on and so forth. We look at M. Night Shyamalan's Signs, the famous movie for its hook, which is aliens are are afraid of water. Now, some people think they're demons. They're demons, and it's holy water. But then that would also mean that the rest of the world is still doomed, because the holy water that's in the movie Signs is it's only for the Academy. I guess maybe you could holy water the entire Atlantic Ocean or Pacific Ocean. I don't know. That's a weird theory. I never quite bought in on it. Aliens being all powerful also have to be a little bit dumb, and that's fine, because even with this movie, they're creatures, they're animals. We don't know who sent them. I think there's larger concepts, writer concepts that are at play in this movie, meaning these creatures are potentially just foot soldiers. They're maybe drones, and they have a purpose, and we don't know their purpose, and we don't know who's controlling them. The movie ends masterfully with some comets coming back to Earth. Now, we believe these are those who sent these aliens. And we go to A Quiet Place, where sensory horror is solidified with the success of Quiet Place. And we've had a lot of, Bird Box, for example, on Netflix. At one time, that was their most watched movie ever, which is crazy. And Bird Box, it's aliens you cannot see. And it's A Quiet Place, it's aliens that hear, so they get you. Quiet Place is fantastic, by the way. I love all three of those movies, especially the flashback one, Day Zero. We've talked about that recently on the 31 Days of Dread. So we get Anthony Mackie. He's a dad. They set him up like they do with Schwarzenegger. They set him up like they do with Tom Cruise. They humanize him. Single father, kid. This has worked ever since Schwarzenegger has come out of that forest lugging the log in Commando. But it's not quite there. We don't quite buy Anthony Mackie as a staunch, stoic survivor. He has a kid. The kid has not asthma, but the kid needs filters, and now because of that freaking kid, we have to go below elevation, and we gotta bring some of our friends. Two chicks, by the way, and we have one of the girls, real quick, in this movie. It's almost like she's like a poor man's Black Widow, the Florence Pugh. She's like a poor man's Florence Pugh. I don't even know her name. And we get the girl from Deadpool, the one that Ryan Reynolds rubbed out of Deadpool Wolverine because he was flexing, which is also that's a knock to the Deadpool character, her not being in Deadpool 3, because Deadpool relatively is a love story, and the love story should not be Deadpool and Wolverine. Oh my God, don't get me talking about that movie. But because of the kid, because of the rotten kid, we have individuals that have to endanger themselves, and they have to get to a hospital, which they do. One person dies, and they make their way back, and along the way, we have a science babe. And if I'm talking with some visceral, it's because I did not enjoy this movie. I thought that this movie, George Nolfi, this is our director. He lets these actors get away with too much. He not clear direction at all. We did see shades of this with his previous movie, which is Spectral, where he's the screenwriter, where just some of the flow of the dialogue for the explanations of the ghost invasion, because that's another alien invasion movie, but they're ghost boys, but it's futuristic and cool, and I did enjoy that movie. But he's letting people get away with too much here, and it's just not there. But our science babe, I guess she binds cobalt to bullets, or so, like she gets some chemical reaction that can take down the aliens, and then the end credits roll, and we get this is such a valid attempt, but it's just not there. The creature design too they borrow, but they can get shot and killed by the end of the movie. And learning that they borrow, you think they would have a resource. They would be able to fight, kind of like the guys from Gears of War. But guess not. Because I guess they don't borrow to protect themselves. But we get this end credit sequence where it's the mountains and it's the map. So we go from West Coast to East Coast, and we just see the spread of the rebellion, and they're taking back the world. And then that's the credit sequence, and then the end credits is a couple comments coming back. I like it. There is like an air of mystery. There is like an air of there's something bigger at play. There's something bigger happening. You fear for these people, though. You do want them to survive. You want them to get out of their situations. Some of the situations, like the key lift, the sky lift, the ski sky lift, the ski lift, and the hospital scenes they're just okay. And these creatures are, like, even we go to Edge of Tomorrow. What's the alien invasion Hulk for Edge of Tomorrow? It's time, which is wonderful, right? Such a ballsy position. The creature design just reminds you a little bit of Edge of Tomorrow, but they're kind of they're arachnoids with scorpion. I think they got scorpion tails. They're just weird. They also look like they're almost like a mix between the bugs from the warrior bugs, the drone warrior bugs from Starship Troopers, because they're black and red, but they have that faceplate. They're arachnoids, and then they have the scorpion tails, but they move. They move and kind of peripheral vision. They give you the impression of Edge of Tomorrow creatures. There's just not a lot to stand out there. There's not a lot to hit home here. But this is a movie that Anthony Mackie headlines. This is a movie that came out in 2024, November 8th of 2024, to be clear, that he was headlining. And the movie came and went. Budget $18 million. Yeah, I mean, I'll take it. Box office $3 million. Oh my God, that's harmful. Let's get into some of this filmography. Writing, our director, George Nolfi. He wrote Timeline in 2003. That's a decent movie. He's also the one. If we look at Ocean's 12, Ocean's 10, Ocean's 11. Ocean's 11 was too much like Inside Con. It's almost like the Sting on some of the best cocaine you've ever had in your life. That's Ocean's 11. Ocean's 12 is somewhat of return to center, and you have to say it's from the blueprint, aka the screenplay. You have to give George here all credit for returning Ocean's 12 to center, because that third movie is legit. I love all three, but that third movie really got us going, and to somewhat save the franchise, because I believe they're back at it, and they've done 2 spin-off movies with the girl ones, which I haven't seen. The Sentinel, I know this movie, haven't seen it. The Bourne Ultimatum, that's our guy. He continues his work with Matt Damon in The Adjustment Bureau. Underrated. You can watch Adjustment Bureau and Dark City. That's a great pairing. Allegiance, not familiar. He director of Birth of the Dragon. I know people that like this movie. There's I guess like every 10, 12 years now, we will get some type of Bruce Lee biopic. Spectral, which we've done here. Screenwriter. Good job on that. And The Banker, another Anthony Mackie movie, and he's writer-director for that. So he collabs with his boy again. I'm curious about The Banker. I'm curious about if Anthony Mackie comes off the same way. Am I being a little bit overly critical of Anthony Mackie? Well, I would say yes and no, because with Captain America Brave New World, it stumbled because I don't believe Mackie comes off on screen in a partial good way at all. I think he plays off of people. I don't think he's front man. I don't think he's in the center of that stage with that mic. He's not the pitcher. He's not the quarterback. He's not the CEO. He's not the guy to go to. But I always feel like he plays off of other people very well. So I'm interested in The Banker. Of all of the movies that I haven't seen from this guy that he's been involved with, I would like to see The Banker. So anyway, but yeah, and he's also writer-director. I just have to say, director of Adjustment Bureau and Allegiance. Adjustment Bureau too. That's a big idea, big concept movie. And yeah, he weaves through that very well. Also had The Blueprint, because I believe that's Philip K. Dick short story. Makes it, having a blueprint on top of a blueprint helps, a foundation. But AKAPAD, I wish I could recommend this movie. But you're better. You're almost better just watching Edge of Tomorrow. I think that's what I'm in the mood for. Let's go.
Okay, that's a wrap.